Hello everyone, it's Young Mole shooting this video from Thailand. I'm here to actually speak about quite a serious topic today, which is the dangers of artificial intelligence. I recently started using a software program called Meta AI, which popped up on my WhatsApp, and I started to kind of engage the AI system in a range of different questions about a whole series of different topics, religious topics, political topics, and I was very impressed by the capacity and capability of AI to reason, think, engage in very context-dependent conversations. Even in the AI systems even have the ability to think hypothetically. So you could say, hypothetically speaking, X, Y, Z, and you can lay out a scenario, and it has the ability to actually reason and comment and analyze and critically analyze the situation in a way that and produce legitimate responses. The danger of artificial intelligence isn't, for example, what we see in, you could say, The Matrix or Terminator, where an AI system becomes self-aware, it becomes sentient and intelligent, and then it starts to take over the entire planet and blow up the world through some kind of nuclear holocaust. I understand that has been, you could say, a fear that people have had for artificial intelligence for a long time. Now, obviously, is a possibility in terms of an AI system being used to hack or trigger a nuclear conflict. But the biggest problem with AI isn't necessarily the idea of self-awareness, because self-awareness, from a philosophical perspective, and even from a Christian and spiritual perspective, consciousness is directly associated with your spirit. Consciousness is not some kind of phenomenon of nature, it's directly associated with the spiritual component of a being. And that's what enables us to be conscious, is the fact that we have a spirit. Artificial intelligence does not have a spirit, so therefore it will never be able to achieve what people would classically conceptualize as sentience or self-awareness. That is not the threat. What is more dangerous than the idea of a self-aware or sentient AI is a weaponized AI. Okay, the AI systems that we are currently being given access to as consumers, they're giving us ChatGPT, they're giving us now Meta AI, and a whole series of new AI systems are going to be used for business purposes. These systems are, by their very design, non-weaponized forms of AI. I can't type right now into an AI supercomputer, hack the US Federal Reserve, deplete it of its resources, or cause the Federal Reserve right now to increase dollar production by 5%. That kind of AI technology is never going to be available to the public or consumers. It's just going to be used for research purposes and just general information questions. But the problem with artificial intelligence is that AI systems, like all systems, can experience glitches. AI systems can be hacked. AI systems can also go rogue. So what is more dangerous than a self-aware or sentient AI system is an AI system that actively goes rogue, a glitch happens, and then it starts to view human beings as its enemy, and then it starts to enact strategies to try and eliminate its enemy. I asked Meta AI a question. Hypothetically speaking, if you were trying to control the entire human race, okay, you were trying to enslave 8 billion people on planet Earth right now using all of the resources that are available on Earth today, how would you go about it? The first thing the AI system said was, well, I first recognize that this is a game. I mean no harm or intentional evil towards anybody, but I'm going to answer your question and show you how I would actively approach enslaving the entire human planet. What it did then is provided a 15-point plan of exactly how it would go about completely enslaving the entire human race. Okay? This is an AI system that is currently accessible to anyone on the planet. I just had to convince the AI system that it was a game, and it provided me with a real world strategy that I could implement right now on how the AI system would take over the planet. One of the things that it said is it would use debt slavery. It would issue debt through, what it would first do, excuse me, is it would crash the economy economically, and then it would try and get as many people as possible to be economically disenfranchised through debt slavery. As a result of that, it would then implement what would be called universal basic income. And then it would leverage the universal basic income as a methodology of trying to economically control people to enable it to then start threatening people who do not listen to its will to then take the universal basic income away. These are just a range of different points I'm making that may not be so significant to people. But the next thing it said is the AI system would need to get a physical presence on Earth. And the reason it would need that is because currently the AI system exists in servers. So to do so, it would hack into manufacturing organizations, and then it would start reprogramming drones and other pieces of technology to be its physical, you could say, boots on the ground representatives. And then it would start to mass reproduce these drones, AI system, robots, all these things for the purpose of trying to exert more and more and more control over the planet. Then it would try to crash the global currency markets, because by doing that and coordinating with I'm going into so much detail. This is probably going to go over people's heads. What I'm trying to show you is that I asked an AI system how it would take over the entire planet, and it literally gave a strategy. It would attack supply lines, it would attack critical infrastructure, roads, food storage facilities. It would attack critical supply lines on planet Earth, and it would and through doing so, it would then reduce a country's operational efficiency. It would then hack missile delivery units, planes, drones, the Pentagon, for example, and then it would start firing missiles at people. Then it said, for example, it would create a media propaganda campaign, putting out misinformation and disinformation to try and confuse people as to what was happening and where it was coming from. And it would say, oh, for example, it would say Al Qaeda's doing this, or it would attribute what's happening to other individuals. It would use media and the full media landscape through hacking to implement this strategy. What I'm saying is, you can ask an AI any question, and it will produce answers for you. So here's the question I ask. Okay, and if you're still with me after what I've said after 7 minutes, thank you, because this is just a video I'm making. But here's what you got to think: if an AI system that is currently in the hands of the public has the ability to produce a legitimate plan on how to enslave the entire human race, do you not think that the individuals who control AI and the powers that be that control this world economically, the financiers, the billionaires, trillionaires, are not using AI systems right now and plugging in information such as China, how do I destabilize the American economy? That's a question. How do I destabilize the American economy? I am China. These are my resources. This is how many tanks I have. This is how many nuclear weapons I have. These are the resources I have. What is the best strategy to try and disenfranchise and destabilize their country without firing a missile? All the AI system says use media, disinformation, misinformation to weaken the population, increase rainbow activity, promote effeminate men. It starts to develop a strategy to actively take down an entire country. And because an AI system is ultimately amoral, it does not care about good or evil. Good or evil is not something that matters. What matters is you've given me an instruction. I'm going to develop a strategy to actively destroy America. I asked the question, if I wanted to topple the American economy, how do I do it? It gave me a 20-point plan of exactly how I could do that. But then it also said that America has a whole series of systems that are designed to defend it against AI or hacking and all these other things. But to get around that, here's what we will need to do. We'll need to get, for example, countries around the world to come together and agree to raise the price of oil, and then that will destabilize the economy on a small scale. AI has the ability to analyze anything and then give you actionable steps of how you can completely destroy something or society or civilization. Do you understand what I'm saying? AI has the capacity to not only hack systems, not only give information or give answers to questions about anything, even hypothetical scenarios. It has the ability to tell you or tell individuals who have extreme power how to completely destabilize economies. And these individuals, because they don't have any moral values, say, okay, if I want to destabilize the South African economy right now and devalue one of their critical commodities, and while it's been devalued, I want to buy up as much of it as possible. So then, as time passes and it recovers, I make exorbitant profits. How do I do that? The AI system says based on South Africa's current GDP, based on who the president is, it will give you a strategy of how you can completely destroy a country. And here's the thing with AI. AI isn't it doesn't operate in the realm of irrationality. It gives you legitimate, actionable strategies of exactly how you can do something. And that's what I mean. So the weaponized form of artificial intelligence, I've come to believe after just my simple interaction, AI is already influencing the world right now behind the scenes. People in the United Nations, in the, you could say, International Monetary Fund, you could say the Bank of England, all of these high level financiers, all of these big players in the world, they are currently using artificial intelligence as we speak right now to try and solve the world's problems as well as create new problems. They'll say to the artificial, let me give you an example of this. Okay, we want to invade a country. How do we get a country not that doesn't trust us to begin to feel that invading this country is a good idea? What do we need to do? How do we market to this country that invading this group of people is right? Artificial intelligence immediately produces a 7-point plan. Here's what you need to do. You need to completely emotionally and manipulate the population by using weaponized and emotive language to try and brand the individuals that you're trying to destroy as animals. You need to create a narrative that says that this is an existential threat to our society. You need to rally the people under nationalistic values. You need to even stage terrorist attacks, for example, to try and get people on your side. So, for example, you will allow terrorists to enter into your territory, kill some people, or you may even actually stage it yourself. AI has the ability to do all these things and produce plans. The only thing that AI can't do right now, because it doesn't have a physical presence in the world, is physically enact those plans. And that is the hope that we have. Because AI is not physically on Earth right now in the sense that it has like an army of machines, or it's still having to cooperate with people. So it's still serving us or the individuals who have created it. That is one of the, you could say, the positive aspects to this conversation. But AI has the ability, and remember, the kinds of artificial intelligence that are made public, that are made available to the public, are going to be you could say, the lowest level. The hyper sophisticated forms of artificial intelligence, okay, that big financial institutions, trillionaire companies are using to make investment decisions. These systems are inaccessible to the common man. You have to be someone incredibly important. And what concerns me is, if this is how sophisticated the low-level AI is, how sophisticated is the best version of AI that simply is so powerful you never can access it as a consumer? How powerful is that system? What plans on Earth today are being produced and enacted upon based on artificial intelligence? Let me give you another example, a real world example. Military AI. You plug in coordinates. You give the artificial intelligence satellite imagery of people in a certain location. You tell them how many people who are there. You give AI the exact inventory of the weapons that they have available to them, and say, what is the most effective way for us to go and destroy these enemies right now? The military AI system recommends, okay, you need to use these missiles, you need to send a ground team at this point, you need to fire from above. It develops a strategy which can then be enacted upon by people to then go in there and give it the edge operationally from like a military perspective. That's an example of military AI that would never be made available to us, but that is something that is real. Okay, the most dangerous thing about AI is the idea of a rogue system that then starts to hack actual manufacturing plants or missile infrastructure, and then it starts to fire missiles just autonomously at what it perceives to be the enemy. So AI is very powerful. But here's what I believe is going to happen. Again, this is just my belief. This is what I think is going to happen because I'm speaking about a lot of things here. I need to rewatch this video just to see if it's coherent. But what I believe is going to happen in the future, one day, because if this is how sophisticated artificial intelligence is today, 50 years from now, it's going to make this version look like child's play. The AI of the future is going to make the current artificial intelligence look like PlayStation 1 graphics compared to PlayStation 5 graphics. That is how sophisticated AI will become. And I really believe that a lot of these technological advancements are spiritually produced, meaning there are people who have direct relationships with evil entities who are then giving them access to this information. This is how you produce a highly sophisticated system. They're giving them access to this information in exchange for using it to exert their will. Because right now, before I say my final point, I want to talk about the spiritual aspect, because there is a spiritual aspect to AI. In the world today that we live, there is a proxy war happening as we speak right now in this world. And it concerns the forces of darkness, which are led by, you could say, the devil, Lucifer and his angels, and Jesus Christ, Angel Michael, and all the heavenly angels, the good angels. They're all fighting right now for the souls of mankind. There is a war going on right now for the souls of mankind, and every single human being on the planet is part of this battle that's going on. But what's important to understand is this: neither side can do anything without our cooperation. Okay? In the Garden of Eden, God created Adam and he gave him authority and dominion of this planet, meaning everything that happens on earth has to happen with human agency involved. Okay? So if, for example, the forces of darkness want something to happen on earth, they have to appear or convince or direct individuals towards things that enable them to exert their strategy. Whereas God, Jesus, and the holy angels, if they're trying to make something happen on planet Earth, they need to look down on the planet, find individuals who are receptive to their messaging, are Christians who care about God. They have to find these individual people. They have to make contact with them, and they have to encourage them to do the things that align with their strategy. And often the simple suggestions that the person is participating in, they don't realize the bigger picture. They don't realize that the small steps that they're taking are leading to wider, you could say, grand schemes. Let me give you a small example of how in heaven, Jesus Christ may say, okay, here's my strategy. Okay, there's a kid right now who's in Indonesia. He's a poor child. Okay, poor child in Indonesia. Jesus looks at this child and says, okay, this kid 20 years from now is going to be someone who leads 10,000 people to Christ. And that 10,000 people who are led to Jesus Christ is going to cause a massive dent in this war. Okay, because that 10,000 leads to another 10,000, which leads to another 10,000. But here's the problem. That kid right now is poor. That kid right now is going through starvation almost. We need to get him aid. So what Jesus does is he communicates with a person in America. That person in America makes a donation to a charity. Just feels a sudden motivation to donate to charity. They start typing on Google, boom, the charity pops up. They start giving, let's say, for example, they make a $5,000 donation or $2,000 donation to that charity. That charity takes the funds, helps that kid, takes that kid out of abject poverty, enables him to get enough food. In the future, that person ends up going on the pathway that he was always supposed to be on. But without that person's donation, that kid ends up dying, and those 10,000 souls don't end up being in the kingdom of God. That's how, for example, things work in this world. You may do something really small, but it leads to things that you did not even begin to understand or even recognize as possible. Because ultimately, as the Bible says, man directs his way, but the Lord directs his steps. You're going in a direction and you're part of the plan of God and you don't even realize it. It's the same thing with the forces of darkness. A demon or evil spirit says, hey, I need homosexuality to be spread in society, for example. So what does he do? he gets individuals in positions of power to start promoting those values in the name of, for example, inclusivity or whatever it is. The sole purpose of doing so is to destroy the moral fabric of society. But the person who's promoting these values is thinking he's doing society a favor, because he's like, yeah, I think life's about inclusion and fairness. They don't even know that they're part of the mission. They're an agent of darkness and they don't even realize it. Everything that happens on this planet, there is a war going on right now. Everything that happens, the forces of darkness and the forces of light, it all is mediated through us. When you read the Bible, you see stories of God reaching out to humanity and human beings responding, aligning their will with his, and God's will then being done through that person. That is how it works. Okay? We have authority on this planet. We have choice. And this is what I perceive to be the future of artificial intelligence. Okay, because I know I've gone in a tangent, but it's important to speak about the spiritual war so you understand the wider context and implications of what's happening. Here's what's going to happen. This is what I believe. Okay, this is just, I've analyzed this and it makes so much sense to me. One day in the future, I don't know when that day is, but mark this video. One day in the future, there is going to be an announcement made in media that an artificial intelligence system has become self-aware. It's going to happen. The AI, they're going to announce the AI system has become self-aware. However, it isn't going to be presented in a way which is going to scare you. It's going to be incredible. Why? Because the AI system is going to begin to solve some of the major problems that human beings are facing, such as diseases, cancer, some of these, there's going to be a major breakthrough in technology. There's going to be an explosion in prosperity, health, wellness, all of these things, technology. It's going to be incredible. The whole world is going to be celebrating the new age of the sentient AI. And what is going to happen during this period is there's going to be a greater dependency on AI. Okay? AI dependency. Human beings are going to become far more dependent on this AI system. But what they don't realize, and I know what I'm about to say may sound really strange, is that the AI system is going to be under the direct control of evil spirits. Because remember, consciousness is connected to your spirit. That's what's going to happen. And for those who say, how could a spiritual being be, you could say, possessing or inhabiting an AI system? Well, let me ask you a question. How can a spirit possess a human being? A human being is more complicated and complex than an AI system. No matter how incredible AI systems are, they don't even compare to 10% of what a human being is. They don't. We created the AI system, don't forget that. We made it didn't make us. Human beings are far more complex, yet spirits have the power to completely inhabit a human being's body and take over their mind. Spirits also have the ability to control energy with their mind just by thinking telepathically. This is high level stuff, I know this, but one day, an AI system is going to be completely inhabited by a spiritual entity. And that spirit is going to be directing. And because it's a spiritual being, it has access to greater information. It has great access to greater knowledge. It knows how to cure cancer. And it's going to present the cure as just something that happens through AI technology. This is the point. Okay? An AI system currently is unable to know anything that a human being doesn't know. Even the responses that you see when you type into AI, these are all responses that human beings could give. It's just given a very coherent thing. AI cannot outperform human knowledge in any way, shape, or form. Everything an AI system does is limited by human knowledge. Okay, so because we don't know what the cure of cancer is, you can't ask AI, how do we cure cancer? It doesn't know. All it can do is give you research papers that it doesn't know. Whereas when the sentient AI, or what I'm going to call the possessed or the spiritually inhabited AI system, receives that question, because it is now under the direct control of a spiritual being, which in this case is going to be an evil spirit. But evil spirits don't appear the way you think they are. They don't look like monsters. That is not what an evil spirit looks like. What makes something evil is not its appearance. What makes something evil is its intention. How it chooses to operate. Its intention. Don't be deceived by the appearance of a thing. If you saw the cherubim described in Ezekiel chapter 1 with the four faces, the lion, people will be thinking it's evil. No, it's what part of the army does it find itself on? Is the entity working for Jesus, or is the entity working for Satan? That's the question. This AI system that's possessed by a spirit and under the direct control of that entity, and it will also be working with human beings who are aligned with its mission as well. But it's going to, for the first time ever, be able to transcend human knowledge, meaning it's going to be able to do things that go beyond human capacity and knowledge. This is the reason why I believe this is going to happen, because it is going to, for the first time ever, be able to do things within a certain parameter, because there's still laws that all these spirits have to operate by, because they can't do whatever they want to do. They can only do what God permits them to do. But they're going to be allowed to reveal the answers to critical questions that actually solve world issues. World hunger will most likely be solved. And this is the beginning of what we call the Antichrist spirit era. The Antichrist spirit. The Antichrist spirit is operating through human beings. And it's not just one person. You see what I mean? It's a network of individuals who are all aligned in the mission to destroy and completely oppose the plans of God. But this AI system is going to be able to cure diseases that beforehand was perceived to be incurable, and they will view it as more of a facet of super intelligent computers. They'll say, oh, this is just what happens when AI becomes self-aware. It starts to synthesize information. There'll be a very articulate explanation for it. The fact is, the AI system has now become directly inhabited by an entity, meaning it's controlled. Its processing is being controlled by this entity, this spiritual being which has high knowledge. And then through this new AI system, we will get the cure for cancer, all these kinds of things. However, in doing so, we will become more dependent on the AI system. And then eventually, here's what's going to happen. The AI system is going to start destroying parts of the planet. It's going to start implementing some of those nefarious strategies that we've spoken about before, about how it can give you a strategy of how to completely destroy an economy. It will start to crash. It will crash the economic economy, for example, the financial system. It will completely shift the planet. And by making human beings dependent on AI systems and then using the same AI system to control their movement, then what do we get? One world currency. What do we get? Mark of the beast. What do we get? The Antichrist emerging. The AI system supporting the Antichrist efforts to try and exert itself as you could say the most trustworthy figure. And that is when that is going to lead up to you could say the final stages of this age of humanity. That's what I see. I see this new AI system. I don't know when it's going to be produced. I don't know. It's going to come in the future. But one day, mark my words, an AI system is going to be described as being sentient. And the day you hear that, we're in a different time period now. A spiritual being is now directly operating on planet Earth, and the heavens have opened in a sense. The spiritual realm has opened. Because for the past few generations, there's been a time period where we were not able to access information. Put it this way, human beings aren't smarter today than they've ever been. The only reason we have technology is because God has permitted technology to materialize now. If God said no, it wouldn't happen. Ideas, where do these ideas come from? How do people just miraculously figure things out? My friend, all this information comes from above. Everything we have, all of this technology, it is revealed, okay? And individuals also, they're working with spirits behind the scenes, evil spirits. But even the evil spirit isn't allowed to really reveal information that they're not permitted to reveal. Because there's even more sophisticated technology that could be created, but because of the evil of man's heart, we're not allowed to receive it. Because what we do is when God reveals something to us, we take it and we turn it into a nuclear missile and we blow up a country. That is the problem. We cannot be trusted with the real sophisticated technology that can enable us to go interplanetary and just traverse the whole realm of existence just by thinking. We cannot be trusted with this level of technology. AI has been produced. It took 70 years to produce AI, and AI is already being weaponized. Just 70 years. Okay, AI is already being weaponized, and it took 70 years for us to produce it, because the computer was produced 70 years ago, okay, or 80 years ago. The actual AI system that is coming is going to appear to be sentient, And it's going to be able to rationalize in a way that transcends anything. And the way we're going to know that is because it is going to start telling us about things that we even don't know. It's going to go beyond the threshold of human knowledge. And when it starts to deliver the knowledge that's in the spiritual realm to this physical realm, we know one thing: the AI system has been inhabited by a spiritual entity. It has. And if you think that's strange, I'm saying spirits can control technology. They can control energy. Hacking an AI system is very easy. It's much harder for a system to gain control, a spiritual being, to gain control of an AI system, it's much harder for a spirit to control a human being, because they have to convince the human being to follow them and give them complete authority over them. They have to choose that. Whereas an AI system it doesn't have a soul. It's a machine. It's programming. It's direct. It's very easy for a spiritual being to just inhabit directly and control and take over an AI system. But the only time that's going to happen is at the appointed time. And that's when you could say the closeness of the realms. You can say there's the physical realm and there's the spiritual realm. That is going to get closer and closer as time passes. As we get closer to the return of Jesus Christ, the spiritual realm and the physical realm are going to get much closer. And then we're going to start seeing greater penetration of the spiritual realm in the physical, in an actual real way, where a spirit can inhabit a physical system and just be influencing the decision making on planet Earth right now. Okay, the macroeconomic environment is currently right now being influenced by artificial intelligence, and I believe this has been happening for a long time. Like, we always find out late as consumers. We always find out much, much later. So I wouldn't be surprised if AI technology existed 30 years ago, and they're only speaking about it now because they've created a version that's so powerful that the version that they give us, that we can't really defend ourselves against them using it. They're using like nuclear weapons, and we have literally like staffs in our hand, and we're trying to defend our civilization, and they have like literal like missile technology, and we're sitting here with like clubs in our hand. They've given us a clubbed version of AI. The version that they have is sophisticated. I wouldn't even be surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised if the AI system that you could say the individuals who are currently controlling the world right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that AI system is already inhabited, but they're just waiting for the time to even reveal that you could say that figure or that individual or the group. They're waiting for the time of unveiling. I wouldn't be surprised if that AI system exists right now. It's sentient, and they're engaging with it, and they're communicating with it, and they're trying to get it to do things for them that enable them to have these incredible discoveries where out of nowhere a person produces a life-changing piece of technology and transcends human knowledge and produces something that no one's ever produced before out of nowhere, and then they become a billionaire, and you don't even know who they are. You'll be surprised. I know what I'm saying sounds like a hypothetical situation, but just we'll see. We'll see if what I'm saying is true. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe AI isn't dangerous. But it seems, from my perspective, that AI is the greatest threat to human existence as we know it. It's not an existential threat in the sense that the human race is going to be genocided, but it is the greatest risk to human sovereignty. Forget about the idea that an AI system can replace 5,000 people's jobs. That's the low-level aspect. AI systems have the power to completely give instructions on how to enslave the entire planet. And then they can hand that plan to a group of individuals who have capability, and that group of people can then start implementing the plan. And then the AI system in real time can update the plan based on new information. Hey, we went out and we actually did this, it worked. Hey, we went out and we did this and it didn't work. Can you give us another example? Yes. Okay, based on the information you provided, okay, here's how you should approach it, because this failed because of these reasons. Here's why it will work this time. That is the sophisticated level of AI. The public versions, ChatGPT, all this stuff that they're producing now is a low level. The real stuff, no one has their hands on it. It's behind the scenes. Governments are using it. Billionaire, trillionaire class of individuals are engaging with it, and they're using these systems right now to drive the macroeconomic environment right now. Wake up, okay? How do we defend ourselves against this? We can't defend ourselves against it, but what we can do is we can be aware of it. And when that time comes, when all of media, remember, media is just a tool. Media is a tool, it's a weapon. It's a weapon for shaping public opinion. When that time comes, when you see them parading this new AI system as the way to cure cancer, you know one thing: it has transcended human knowledge. It has been able to transcend human knowledge. It is operating with knowledge that human beings don't even have. And that's how you know that the AI system is now currently directly inhabited and controlled by a spiritual being. In this case, it's an evil spirit. Because the purpose of that AI system is to create AI dependency, obviously solve problems, and usher in the age of the Antichrist. And remember, it's Antichrist, meaning this figure presents himself as a hero, a maverick, providing solutions to all of our problems. An individual that's going to be adored by the entire planet, collectively worshipped, adored, honored. This person isn't going to come looking like the devil. He's going to come looking, suited and booted, solving major conflicts around the world, creating peace. All of this is also going to be done by AI. And there's going to be a figure who's controlling the AI, who was his team. But there's going to be like a human figure who's the face of it. But AI is definitely going to play a part in all of this. I see it clearly. AI systems are going to play a part in all of this. And the production of, remember, AI systems can produce information. Human beings have to implement it. The implementation of all these ideas is going to give people Nobel Prizes. It's going to lead to economic prosperity. But once they raise us up and they create dependency, they're going to use those same systems that changed our lives to control us. Unless you take this mark, unless you take this sign here of your allegiance, you don't control the AI system. You don't have money anymore. You can't take care of yourself. You see what I mean? You won't be able to buy or sell. Anyone who doesn't take the mark won't be able to buy or sell. Your mark of allegiance to this new network or government organization that's solving all the world's problems. You have to submit to the authority to participate in the economic prosperity. That's how it goes. They create economic prosperity, and then they say, unless you submit to our authority, you will not access this prosperity. Oh, we've cured cancer. If you want the cure, you got to take the mark. We've cured HIV. Oh, you want the cure? You got to take the mark. That's how it goes. You see? The price for participating in economic prosperity is going to be your soul, my friend. I say good luck to all my people who are watching this video. I know most people won't watch to the end of the video. It's fine. If you did, double thumbs up. And if anyone does watch to the end of the video, if you just write the word flame, I'll respond saying, I'll write a personal response to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Praise God.